Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Richard Donaldson Show. If you've already watched a few episodes, thank you so much. You can catch them on YouTube, Facebook, and then they'll be on Spotify, Apple. They'll be all over the place. So wherever you are watching, whether you're watching this live now, whether you're going to be watching it over the coming days on those platforms I've just mentioned, please, head below and click subscribe, like, comment, all the rest of it. So let's get straight into it. And whether you are watching this from here in Britain, America, Australia, Canada, or wherever else in the world, particularly the Western world, I want to start with a very simple question. And the question is, do you feel like we are being run by serious people, intelligent people, people who want what is best for us? Because here in the UK, and maybe it's the same where you are, let me know in the comments below, do you look around at our borders, our streets, our police, our military, our universities, our media, our politicians and think, yes, these people know exactly what they're doing, because I surely don't. And I don't think millions of ordinary people across the Western world do either, because what we are seeing now is not just a British problem. Britain might be one of the clearest examples. Britain might be one of the easiest countries to look at and say, what on earth is happening here? But this same pattern is happening across the world. Weak borders, weak leadership, collapsing public trust, rising violence, speech being policed, debate being shut down, ordinary people being treated like extremists for noticing reality. And governments that somehow always have money for global projects, foreign commitments, vanity schemes and ideological nonsense, but suddenly become very careful with money when it comes to protecting their own citizens, to protecting us. It's funny that, isn't it? Because before we get into it, I just want to show you something on the screen. Again, if you're watching this, thank you so much. If you're watching it live, if you're on Spotify, Apple, whatever, please head below. Click subscribe, like, comment, all the rest of it. Now, let's take a look at our first story. So, Britain is apparently now vulnerable to ballistic missile threats. Wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. Now, according to defence experts, Britain has a major gap in its missile defences. Essentially, if someone tries to target us with missiles, we can't do a thing about it. We can't do anything at all, because a major gap in Britain's defences is leaving this country exposed. It's leaving our overseas territories exposed to ballistic missile attacks. That's what military experts have said. Now, apparently senior military figures have been warning this for years, that the UK remains completely reliant on its allies in North America and Europe to help deter any threats should it actually kick off. Now, this comes just a month after Iran fired two missiles at the Chagos Islands, and we also saw them fire multiple missiles at our bases in Cyprus, too. And this is nothing new. I was based in Cyprus for about 8 months a few years ago when I was in the army, and it was the same story then. It was essentially the Americans that were running the place. It was essentially the Americans who were in charge of our defence there, because we simply just couldn't do it. It's an embarrassment. We are supposed to be Great Britain, and we can't even defend our own country from foreign attacks. Never mind launch an assault if we need to. We can't do it. We are having to rely on other countries to protect us, because we simply don't have the capabilities to knock a few rockets out of the skies. We are sitting ducks. And to rub salt into the wound, this is the reality, okay? This might shock you. You might already know this, you might not. Rwanda, South Africa, Egypt and India are just a few countries that are capable of doing this. These countries all have better defences than the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. That is how far we have sunk. We have allowed ourselves to go from the greatest empire on earth to being outgunned by Rwanda. Like, I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. We've got here Susan Watson watching from Great Yarmouth. We're here, Great Yarmouth. I tell you what, you've pulled it out the bag, haven't you? Yesterday, and I know you're back out on the 7th as well. There's going to be lots of people out there as well for Restore. If you support Restore, if you don't, whatever. But yeah, I know Great Yarmouth have really, really pulled it out the bag in the last couple of days. So yeah, brilliant. Squirrel Nut says UN Agenda 2030 is being pushed by King Charlie and his friends. I have to say I agree completely. The globalist agenda is completely taking over. Now, if it all kicks off, what will you be doing? Trying to find your nearest bomb shelter, or would you try your chances in South Africa? You could try and get a dinghy out there, actually. You'd be passing them on the way in, like, mate, lads, turn around. It's not what you think. Go home. Honestly, we're safer in Rwanda. I promise you. Are you currently serving in... I know Rwanda's not in South Africa. I'm just saying, you know what I mean. Are you currently serving in the military right now? Are you watching this? What are your thoughts? Does it frighten you that you might be expected to go to war very soon without any real meaningful kit and equipment? Again, let me know in the comments below what you think. Like I say, I was in the army for a few years and I saw the kit and equipment. It is shocking. I saw the standard of soldier. It is shocking. And now we can't even protect our skies. We just can't do it. That's been confirmed by senior military personnel. Now, next up, and this is always a bone of contention, I want to talk about one of my personal heroes. Oh, Tommy. This is where people start tuning out now. You mention his name, right? And people are either like, yeah, or you mention his name and people are like, boo. So, Tommy, I won't say his name too many times because I will get booted off the live stream, especially on Facebook and Instagram. They do not like it. So, Tommy Robinson has been invited to speak at the Oxford Union, okay? The legend himself is said to be debating whether the West is right to be suspicious of Islam. Now, he hasn't asked to go and do this. They've invited him, and that is the topic that they have chosen. Things are changing, I'm telling you. Now, I actually went onto the Reddit forum where some of the students have been discussing this, and some of the comments have been truly hilarious. Type in Reddit, Tommy, Oxford Union, and it comes up, right? It's absolutely fantastic. This isn't one of the funniest ones, but Rooster Burns said, "It's kind of sickening to elevate his white supremacist ranting to the status of a debate. His followers won't watch this. They're dum-dums. They'll get a clip reel edited to look like he's landing zingers and to look like his opponents are crying in fear at his truth bombs. The liberal need to wag a finger at a baddie instead of just telling them to fuck off has always mystified me." Well, that's because you shouldn't really tell people to do that because you disagree with them, because that's fascism, isn't it? And we don't like fascists, do we? It's funny because they went on to say, like, oh, no one's going to watch this, no one's going to tune in, it's going to be rubbish, Rich, you're clicking the wrong image here. No, everyone was like, oh, this will be crap, no one will tune in, it's pointless. Well, he actually did it a few years ago, 11 years ago now, wow, and that got 5 million views. Now, he's he's got a much bigger profile now than he did even 11 years ago. So I think this could potentially break the internet as well as the hearts of many loony lefties. Flory Trulson says that she's not felt safe for over a year, especially after she was accosted by 2 men of a certain ethnicity while walking her dog at the local park summer of last year, because she said that she was wearing a t-shirt with a British flag on it. Fortunately, other people walking their dogs intervened. No visible harm to her, but the mental distress remains with her though, and I can only imagine that to be the case. That's why I think we're quite lucky in a sense that we've got people like Tommy who speak out, who aren't afraid to say, look, this is what we think, this is what I think, this is what I feel. And he's been through it, man. He has been through it, hasn't he, for years and years and years. He's lost absolutely everything. He still gets attacked now. But he pushes on, so fair dues to the guy. Fair dues to the guy, yeah. I think it's hilarious how ill-informed people actually are on Tommy and all the good that he's actually done. They call him a white supremacist. But then in other comments below, they take the mick out of him for having Africans at his marches. So, like, every year, obviously, there's one that's held in London. I'll say UTK. If I get kicked off, I get kicked off. It is what it is. You're not usually allowed to say that. We'll see how it goes. No, he seems to be all right. And he's had people from all over the world take to that stage and give performances, and he actually gets berated by the far, far right for not being a racist, essentially. So yeah, they said no one will watch it. It had 5 million views last time. I imagine a lot of people will be tuning in. Listen, if Oxford Union, one of the most famous debating societies in the world, can't even host a debate on a controversial subject, then what is the point of it? Seriously, what is it for? Because I thought the whole point of, a debating society was to debate. So I find it very, very strange that these people are like, well, we don't want to have him there because we disagree with him. Like, yeah, that's the whole point in a debate, doofus. Like, otherwise, what are we doing? I simply don't understand these so-called lefty liberal types. They're happy to allow foreign extremists into Britain. They allow people who hate this country to live here. They are happy to allow convicted criminals to stay here. They're even happy to allow people to scream absolute hatred about Britain, about the West, about Christians, about Jews, about white people, about our history, about our values. What else can I list here? I'm going on and on and on, aren't I? I've had quite a lot of coffee and it's 9 o'clock at night. And somehow, all of that is fine. That's diversity. That's tolerance. They say that is multicultural Britain. But if someone is invited to debate at Oxford and they disagree with them, no, sound the alarms, emergencies. It's pathetic. If you're on the left and you're listening to this, why not take your favourite Palestine flag and use it to dry your tears? Because the tide is turning. Cancel culture is being cancelled. No one cares what you have to say anymore. And those of us who speak out, we're only going to grow. Many more will be joining us as time goes on. People don't care anymore. More and more people are waking up. And no one cares what you call us anymore. And whether you like Tommy, me, whoever, it's irrelevant. It's not the point. We will now be speaking about Islam honestly. We will talk about extremism. We will not shut up. We will talk about the rape gangs, a lack of integration. We will talk about the fact that we don't want to be demographically or ideologically replaced. And there is not a single thing that you can do about it. You can lock one of us up, but 10 more will take our place. Quite frankly, we absolutely will talk about the fact that in many towns and cities across Britain, people feel like parts of their own country have been changed beyond recognition. These subjects are not off limits anymore. We will talk about it. Call us racist, call us far right, call us whatever you like, try and cancel us. It does not matter. I'm a branch organiser for the political party that I believe in. I'm a family man. I have nearly 1 million followers across my platforms, and myself, just like many others, will say whatever we want to say. And that's just the way it is, and we will do it unapologetically. We will shout it from the rooftops, and there is not a single thing that you can do to stop the rise of the patriot. We will take our country back, make no mistake, and it's thanks to people like Tommy who has made it possible for the rest of us to stand up. He held the establishment at bay, I suppose, while the rest of us took our time to cotton on. Saying that, he's much older than I am, so it stands to reason that it would have taken me a little bit longer. He's nearly 50. I think someone said he's nearly 50. Emma Gentle says, "Hi Richard." Andrea Brown says the UK is a test. A test of what, Andrea? Let us know. Anne Marie says, "What is your plan, UK? We are praying for you, but you must unite and fight for your country. Bless you." Do you know what? I think more and more people are. Anne-Marie, I think more people are. When I look at where we were just a year ago compared to where we are now as a country, I tell you what, so many more people are awake. So many more people are awake now. So many more people are tuning in. So many more people are cottoning on to what's actually going on. Alan says, "Give Danny Tomo a shout." Yeah, I've got Danny's number. Spoke to him a couple of days ago with something I had in mind. He's been a bit busy. He's been locked up, hasn't he? They throw him into a detention centre in Belgium because he was over there basically shining a spotlight on what's really going on in the world. So he's 43. Sarah Mason says Tommy's 40. He looks older, mind you. He's had a hard life, hasn't he? He's had a hard life. I'm telling you now, he looks 50 easy. But I know being in isolation for nearly 2 years, probably put quite a few, probably put like a decade on him, to be fair. Now, look, before I move on, I must say this. I have no sponsors. I have no outside funding. No one tells me what I can and cannot say. And in order to get this podcast going and keep this podcast going, paying for things like this stupid microphone, so hopefully I sound all right. It does, of course, take funds. If you're able to, just £1, please, if you can, head to nationalprotest.co.uk and make a small contribution. It really does make all the difference. Thank you so, so much. Next up, where are you planning to go on holiday this year? Can you even afford to? I know I can't. Well, we are now being told that summer holidays could be thrown into complete chaos because of fuel shortages. Wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. So not only can we apparently not defend ourselves from missiles, not only is half the country wetting the bed because Tommy is appearing at Oxford, it seems that we will struggle to get out of this country, this mess, this shithole, for even a short break this year. According to multiple news sources, airlines have been warned to prepare for possible flight cancellations this summer because of concerns around jet fuel supplies. And apparently the government has been looking at contingency plans that would allow airlines to cancel flights in advance without losing their slots. So apparently what happens is an airline, if they don't keep doing that route, regardless of whether or not people are even on the plane, they lose the right to actually fly that route anymore. So that's what they're doing. Now, I know what people will say, right? They'll say, "Oh, Rich, calm down. It doesn't mean everyone's holiday is cancelled." And yes, I know that. But that isn't the point, is it? The point is that once again, we are being reminded just how fragile this country actually is. How fragile everything is, really. Like one problem overseas, one crisis in the Middle East, one supply chain issue, one bit of pressure on fuel, and suddenly ordinary British families who have worked all year, saved up, paid through the nose, probably had to sell a kidney just to afford a week in the sun with their kids, are now being told, yeah, your flight might not even happen. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now, apparently, the measures are being taken to avoid major disruption as Britons jet off on their summer holidays. Airlines are looking carefully at their timetables to see essentially which flights can be cancelled in advance and cause the least delays. Now, new legislation would allow for actions such as consolidating schedules on routes where there are multiple flights to the same place on the same day, which could be put in place to stop last-minute cancellations. Now, the changes will allow airlines to give back a limited proportion of their allocated takeoff and landing slots without losing the right to operate them following the following season, the following year. Now, usually cancelling these puts airlines at risk of losing the slots, meaning sometimes they run half-empty planes in order to keep the right to use them. It doesn't seem very net zero, does it? We get all these companies now who are like, and these people who own the companies, these globalist elites, the top 1%ers, the ones with all the money saying, oh, net zero, oh, don't put your heating on and cook your beans at the same time. Why not cook your beans on the radiator? Why don't you save the planet? And yet now they're like, do you know what? Just to keep the route, just so we can earn more money next year, we're just going to start flying empty planes around the world. Why not? Why not? Andrea Brown is vocal in the comments tonight. She says it's all part of the plan. I can't help but agree, Andrea. I can't help but agree. Janice Horton, I hope I'm saying that name right, he said, "Hi Richard, my nephew has had his flight cancelled because of the fuel and he doesn't go till July." Yeah, I think they're like preparing in advance, essentially. It's scary, isn't it? Because when everything initially kicked off with Iran, we were told that fuel shortages would occur, and we've even been told that food shortages will follow, and so many people were quick to rush to saying, it's all a conspiracy theory, we'll be fine. I even had people have a go at me online because when I spoke about it, I was told that I was just essentially spreading fear. This is reality now, people. This is reality now. This is what we need to come to terms with. Like a few weeks ago, I said to people, I did a post on Facebook, and people went absolutely nuts at me. They went absolutely nuts. I said to people, look, if you can fill up your cars, And then rather than let them run out of fuel, just try to keep them topped up. Like if you can afford to do it, I know not everyone can, fuel your car right up. And then, once you've used a quarter of a tank, just keep topping it up, and just keep on top of it. And yeah, people went in on me in the comment sections, to say that it wouldn't happen. We wouldn't have fuel shortages. I was just trying to scare people, So I'm going to double down now, okay? Mark my words. And I'm not trying to scare anyone. I just think it's the reality. I think you need to stock up on food and basic supplies, because that's what I'm going to be looking to do. Water, basic medical supplies if you need them. Stop running out if possible. Stop waiting for it to all be gone and then say, oh, I need to go and do a shop, Get yourself to Aldi, Lidl, wherever's cheap. And if you can, get yourself a week or two's worth of food in, like minimum. Start overbuying tinned foods. When you get like the cheap ravioli for like 14p, get a load of them in. And just have them sat in the cupboard. They last years because, look, I don't want to scare people, but it's the reality. Like, food shortages and rationing, it's coming. It is coming. Fuel rationing is coming. Energy rationing is coming. I don't care. I know people are going to have a go at me in the comments. I know people are going to kick off at me and say, Rich, you're trying to cause fear and all the rest of it. I'm not. I'm telling you now, it's coming. Our national grid is currently sat at 99% capacity. We're having rolling blackouts. They keep doing it. Every now and again. It's not every now and again. There is now a plan in place, and you can go and Google this if you don't believe me. They have plans in place now for the national grid where they have got on a rolling rota type basis, right, we'll turn this village off at 10 o'clock and we'll turn them back on at 11. And then we'll turn that village off just to keep the demand down. So it's rolling blackouts, essentially. It's coming. It's happening right now. Right, I'll move on from that before I give anyone a panic attack. Next, we've got some very sad news. So 2 women have reportedly died whilst trying to cross the channel in a dinghy. Now, of course, this is very sad. People drowning it's sad. Of course it is. But has anyone noticed a bit of a pattern here? It seems that when we go on Google, all we ever see are swathes of fighting age men in these dinghies, yet the moment someone dies, it's a woman or it's a child, isn't it? We go on Google and we look at the images, and all we see is pictures of fighting age males in these dinghies. And they've never got cuts and bruises, considering they've come from war-torn countries, have they? You never see them coming on a wheelchair, do you? Because they've just had a leg blown off. They always look perfectly, healthy, happy, young, virile, fighting age men. That's just all we see. Yet the moment someone dies crossing the channel, it's a woman or it's a child. Now, today's news reporting has been sketchy on this, to say the least, because apparently we're being lied to. The official narrative, I'm just going to get it up on the screen. Okay. Is that according to some reports, one was a teenager, age 16, and the other was a woman in her 20s. They were found dead in the boat. Which had run aground on the beach of, I'm not even going to try and say that. Now, according to Christophe Marx, the Secretary General of the, oh God, why does it keep giving me French words? I can't speak French. Pas-de-Calais Prefecture. So people are laughing at me now, aren't they? People who can speak French. I feel like Joey on Friends. Have you ever seen that episode where he thinks he can speak French and he can't, but he puts it on his CV for his acting gig, and then he turns up trying to speak French and he's just talking gibberish? Them were the days, man. Friends. Anyway, yeah. Apparently we're being lied to. Now, initially they said that these people had drowned. And then the news reports were updated to say the bodies were found in the boat. Now, why would 2 bodies out of 80 or 8, was it? I think it says in the news article. Does it say in the news article? No. Off the top of my head, I think it was roughly 86 people were in this boat. Madness. In a dinghy. 2 bodies in the boat. One was in her 20s and the other was age 16. Okay. Now, according to a British activist with close ties to the border force, the women were allegedly raped and beaten before being thrown overboard. There's so much conflict here right now. Apparently, the running theme is that the media are lying to us. Take a listen.
These women that have that keep falling over the boat and drowning, have you noticed how it's always women? So at first we thought that they were just using women as a motive feeling to make us feel guilty, and obviously not mentioning the 600 men. However, we've since found out that these women are apparently being raped and beaten and chucked overboard before they even get to UK. That's why for the couple of women who end up on these boats, they don't end up in UK, they end up in the sea, having been savaged by these men.
Now, firstly, I'd just like to say that that is from a protest that took place today in Skegness, and it was put on by Unite the Right. And they've been protesting for the right reasons. I was a bit unsure when they first said about it, because the reason they went out to this protest is because a young woman has come forward and said that she's been sexually assaulted. The police kept it completely under wraps, and then the absolute heroes at Unite the Right, Steve and Carla. Carla is the lady that you've just seen in that video there. They put on a protest and basically said to the police, look, we want answers or we're going to get out there and we're going to protest. So firstly, well done for that, for standing up for the local community. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. I've been extremely busy, and I did try to make plans to be able to get there, but I just wasn't able to. That lady in the video there, like I say, her name's Carla. Now I know that lady. She's an activist, and I know that lady right there, she does not bullshit. I know that if she is saying that, then she has her sources. She has her information. And here's the thing. It's not just her that's saying it. We've got Valentina Gomez. Now, she's the lady who she essentially, she's just been banned from entering the UK because of her opinions on immigration. And she weighed in herself, and she's pushing this story as well to say, no, you're being lied to in the UK. They're making this up in terms of the fact that, that the ladies drowned. Then they pivoted, like I say, and said they were found dead in the boat. So something is going on here. And I suppose all we can really do is see what comes of this, but keep our ears to the ground. We cannot let this story just fade away. I will keep reporting on this as it unfolds. But again, please, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. We have got, Tony's in the comments section who agrees, complete cover up. We've got someone here called Chris saying, obviously I can't prove anything, but I spoke to a man from a hotel who told me he was paid for coming over by our government while he was still in his country, and his family got paid for him to start making his way here. Go and watch. It's called The Undercover Migrant. His name is Christian. He's a very, very good man. I know him personally. And he did a documentary for Talk TV called The Undercover Migrant, and he spoke about all of this. He interviewed some of them. He's doing more now. There's going to be more coming out. In fact, he's got a website now called Watchman. I think it's called WatchmanUK.com, something like that. I'll find out for you and I'll post it in the comments after this. But he's bringing so much to light with regards to that yes, you've got the Taliban, you've got ISIS, the Islamic Brotherhood. They are essentially sponsoring these people. There are contracts in place to bring these people over into this country. They've got links to Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, ISIS. They've received money. They've been brought into the UK, and now they're here, living in hotels, 4-star hotels, everything bought and paid for. And at the moment, there's nothing we can do but keep speaking out. keep speaking out, turn up to the protests when people put them on, and yeah, I don't want to get too bogged down in that tonight because there's so much to go through, man. There's so much to go through. Next up, there has been an explosion today in Bristol, and it has resulted in the death of 2 people, and it's also seriously injured a child. Take a look.
At about 6:17 a.m, we received a call to attend a domestic-related incident at a residential address in Stern Court Road. Officers were sent to the scene, but shortly before they arrived, at just after 6:30 a.m, there was an explosion inside the property. A woman and a man have died at the address, and we're treating the explosion as suspicious. Their families have been updated and are being supported by specially trained officers, and our thoughts are very much with them. 3 people, a man, a woman and a child, were taken to hospital to be treated for minor injuries. A major incident was declared, and emergency services, as well as Bristol City Council, have been following well-rehearsed plans in response. While our inquiries remain at an early stage, at this point we're not looking for anyone else in connection with this incident. It is also important to confirm we are not treating this as a suspected terrorism incident. A cordon was put in place to protect the public and to allow inquiries to be carried out at the scene. This included specialist searches carried out by the British Army's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit as a precaution. People living within the cordon were evacuated to a temporary rest centre, and we want to thank them for their ongoing cooperation and understanding. We fully recognise how disruptive this has been for them, and to manage expectations, we think the cordon will remain in place until at least the evening, and will continue to provide updates where we can. Public safety will always be our priority, and we'll reduce the cordon as soon as it's safe for people to return to their homes. Officers are also carrying out inquiries at another property in Speedwell, which is linked to the man who died. No evacuations have been necessary at this scene.
So Sharon Howard has said, totally a cover-up. They tell us what they want us to know or not know. I'm worried about colleges and school. Well, I mean, we've seen plenty of schools and colleges be locked down, haven't we, over the past couple of weeks, months, years. It's just that now we're starting to pay more attention to it. Someone called the police for what was essentially a domestic disturbance. Then when the police were on the way, the bomb went off or the explosion happened. 2 people have died and the explosion is being treated as suspicious, but it isn't a terrorist incident. How do they know? And why are they so quick to say it is suspicious, but it isn't terror related, even though they can't yet know that because they haven't carried out their investigations yet? Why are they so quick to come out and say, oh, don't worry, whatever's happened, it's definitely got nothing to do with terrorism, but we need to do our investigations. But we know it's nothing to do with terrorism. We haven't done your investigations, so how do you know, Plod? How do you know what's gone on? They're so quick now to come out. Their priority always seems to be, right, how can we try and make sure, we tell everyone that it's got nothing to do with terrorists, whatever's happened, we'll just cross that bridge when it comes to it. But right now, whether it turns out to be a lie or not, we'll just tell them it's got nothing to do with terrorists. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Strange, isn't it? Seems that whatever happens, the police are extremely quick to come out and say, nope, nothing to see here, not terror related. It is suspicious, but don't worry about it. I think they know that this country is on a knife edge. They're doing all they can to downplay everything. Colette Smith says, I love your new haircut. Colette, I can't help but feel like you might be taking the mick. Yeah. I went to the Turks, the good ones, not the they let you pay on card. Do you know what I mean? They're all right, they're sound, they've been there for years. They love this country. They hate illegal immigration. I talk to them about it all the time. They've seen my social media, but they had a trainee in, and Further training required. It is what it is. It grows back. Yeah, thank you very much for that. One thing they're going to struggle to downplay is this next story. So, many of you may have seen that in Crewe, it's a place called Crewe, it's just up the road from me, an Islamic cult have had their property raided. They have been said to have been caught up in cult practices, enforced marriages, sex slavery, and even torture, to name just a few of a few things that have been going on there now. They call themselves the Ahmadi religion of... That was good pronunciation then, did you hear that? I even got the in there. The Ahmadi religion of peace and light. Now, as I say, I only live up the road, and I know people who live there, and I can confirm with complete confidence that the police are now digging for bodies at the headquarters that this so-called peaceful Islamic religion have been using. And what I want you to take a look at is this footage that was taken by someone from outside the headquarters itself. Let me know what you think.
That's the cross in the back garden of the property. You have to bear with because you zoomed in and there's loads of trees here. Just let me make sure my tripod ain't going to fall. So that's the cross in the back. And it is in my videos, previous videos. Pretty mad that is, isn't it? Especially the footplate on it. Like, sketchy as they come. The footplate and the towel wrapped around it. And the arm holes. Whatever they are, arm placement thingies. A tripod. There you go, that's a better angle. So that's the seating area. And there it is in perspective to the cross.
Now let me know in the comments below, yeah? Can you think of any reason why a cross that's coloured red would be there next to a seating area with a foot plinth for someone to stand on and a towel to hold them in place, and even holes for the arms to go through? Now, the police, in typical fashion, have been deadly silent on this, but I will be following this story as it goes on, and I will continue to do everything I can to update everyone on what's going on. I'm seeing some comments from people saying that this live stream isn't working on YouTube. I hate technology, man. I hate it. It's not right, is it? It's not right. That red cross there, a seating area for people to sit and watch, towels to hold people in place, holes for arms to go through, and then the foot plinth is the most telling one because they're putting people on that cross. Why? Why have we got a cross at an Islamic religious headquarters and the police just so happen to be digging for bodies? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That's all I've got for this week. Please, please, please like, comment, share as much as you possibly can, whichever platform you're on. Leave a 5-star review if that's possible. And if you want to support me, the work I do, the activism, and also my podcasts and my work going forward, nationalprotest.co.uk. Thank you also so much for tuning in. Oh, there's going to be, sorry, I keep getting shouted at for this. Don't go anywhere yet. Stay here. Every single week, I'm going to be doing 2 shows like this. One is going to be me talking to you guys, reading your comments, chewing the fat a little bit. And then there's going to be a second episode where I talk to a guest. I've just had Basil the Great off X. He's huge. He's like Pally with Elon Musk. I've had Lauren the Insider. And I've got some bigger guests coming on very... Oh, Bruce Unfiltered. Just had Bruce Unfiltered as well. It's all over on YouTube at the minute, or it's on Spotify, Apple, or... What's the other one? Amazon Music, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. It's everywhere. Just type in The Richard Donaldson show. I was supposed to have a thing here to show you, but I forgot, and I'm going to get shouted at again. Oh, it's at the end here. Yes, right. Thank you very, very much for watching. Head over to The Richard Donaldson Show, wherever you can find it on all good streaming platforms. Yes, thank you very, very much. Bye.